What's going on? Hopefully you are doing great today. Some of you guys might already know me. Before I was doing any of this aquascaping stuff, I was actually a channel that used to upload gameplay of different games that I enjoyed. But now I'm coming back to something different. I'm going to be doing something that I actually really enjoy as well, something that I found out I was really into recently, and I decided, you know what, let me come back, let me make a comeback to my channel and actually upload more content and maybe try something new, something different, something, like I said, something that I enjoy. And that's what we're gonna be doing now. So what we're gonna be doing now, guys, as you can see from the title, from my profile banner, from my profile picture, I'm doing fish tanks now. The reason for that is I recently got into aquascaping. Now, when I say recently, I mean I recently started doing it, but I was really into like fish keeping and aquascaping years before I actually decided to upload content. So up until maybe I'd say almost a year ago, I started actually aquascaping and my own version of aquascaping. Obviously, I'm still new to this, but I'm gonna be trying to bring you guys something new, like I said, and it's going to be aquascaping content from now on. And I'm hopefully during this whole process I get to learn something new. Hopefully you guys get to enjoy the content. Maybe you guys will actually try this out for yourself. If you're somebody who already aquascapes and you decided to click on my video, maybe you can give me some pointers, maybe you can give me some advice. But yeah, that's what it's going to be now, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the content, and let's just go ahead and get into this tank back here that we're going to be scaping. So what I'm actually going to be scaping today, guys, is this 14 by 14 by 15 tank. This is actually a tank that I got at Petco. For any of you guys who don't know what Petco is, it's an actual chain here in the US of pet supplies. And I got this tank a while ago. Now, it's a nice tank. The only thing that I can say I don't like about it, and well, I'm going to use it regardless because I have the tank, is this caulking here. I'm not a big fan of them doing like this weird thick bead of caulking like on the inside. Usually rimless tanks, it would just be a bead that kind of just sits in between both of the panes of the glass. But regardless, I have the tank. It's still a nice tank. That's the only downside, and the only reason why I don't like it is because when you're going in here with like a scraper with a blade trying to get the algae off of the glass, you could kind of like nick this silicone and it could start leaking. That's the only reason why I don't like it. Um, you can see over here on this tank that I have, this actual like the bead of silicone is in between the glass, right? So you don't have like that bead on the inside. But anyway, and then we're going to be using this light here. This is actually look, I've watched a lot of videos of people, like for example in Europe, they have quite a bit, I would say, more options than we do here in the US. But this light here, this is a Seora light. It's a, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 21-watt light. It's good enough for what we're gonna do. What I'm gonna try to do with my channel is I'm gonna try to keep everything as basic as I can, meaning I'm not gonna always use like the most expensive products that you can use. For aquascaping, as you can see, like this mat down here, it's literally just like that film or liner that you would put in drawers in your kitchen so that your kitchen utensils don't slide around. And then I just put some tape on each corner so that it doesn't kind of move at all. Some people might say, "Oh, well, that's probably not the best thing to do because your glass is going to crack." No, it's more than enough. Trust me, this surface as it is, it's not the perfect surface, but it's smooth enough to where I know this glass here at the bottom is not going to crack. All right, now, like I said, I don't plan on always using like the most expensive of materials for any of the builds. Like for example, here I literally just have play sand. This is play sand that I bought at Home Depot. I washed it very thoroughly, and then I just kind of let it sit outside and dry so that it's not all wet. When you don't really want to put wet sand into a tank, it's harder to kind of move it around and maneuver it. But yeah, it's literally just play sand from Home Depot. Now, what I'm going to start off by doing is I'm just going to put a bottom layer into the tank just so that I don't scratch the glass when I put in the rock. gonna try to do this as best I can because I don't have a lot of space to play with. So literally, I don't have a lot of space. I am literally in a confined, maybe like 5 by 3 space, and trust me, it's a little hard. And I did actually decide to buy a brush for this. Now I'm gonna do this with my left hand just because the angle here, it's like this is the best angle I can get, again because of the space. So I'm gonna use my left hand here, but I do know that a lot of people use brushes, and a lot of people I feel like they think that when somebody's using a brush, they're just trying to like be fancy. But honestly, I feel like it's better than your hand because you don't get like those drag marks. You see what I mean? Like you put your fingers in there and it kind of you take either too much or not enough, and then you leave these like weird imprints with your fingers. But with this, it's literally smooth and it looks better, man. I mean, yeah, it does kind of give it a little bit more of a professional look, but you know. All right, so I have the small layer of sand in there now. What I want to go is there's different compositions. Again, I'm not, very well versed into how they all work or should work, but I know that there's like triangular, there's islands. So triangular would be, this side of the tank, and literally what it is, a triangular kind of form. So everything like the hardscape would all be towards this side, and the plants and all that. The island would literally just be an island, right? So everything would be right in the center. And then there's kind of like this other one where it's literally, I'm gonna call it landscape. I know people are really what, like you literally it's just wood and rocks, or just rocks, which would be any wood. But let me not get into that. Basically, it would just be along the whole like back, right, of the whole. It would cover like basically all the back side of the tank. But I think I want to do something where like I can have kind of like little pockets to plant into, kind of like a staircase, right? Like staggered kind of thing. So I want to like make little pockets where I can put plants, and because at the end of the day, this is gonna be like a guppy tank. I want to have guppies in here so that they can breed. And honestly, guppies are probably like the easiest and some of the like most beautiful colors on guppies. I just want to have guppies, let them breed, let them enjoy the tank, let me enjoy the tank, which is primarily the main reason why I'm making it a guppy tank and why I'm gonna set it up the way I am. And yeah, just go from there, and I'll see kind of like how it's looking, and if it's not looking so great, then maybe I'll try something else. But let me just try to make it work. All right, so now I'm gonna start messing around with the hardscape, and I'm literally going to use what I know to be one of the cheapest rocks out there, and that is lava rock. Now, when I mean this stuff is cheap, I don't know if there's qualities or different varieties, whatever. It's simply just lava rock, but I got this from a landscape supply company, literally a couple of miles away from where I live, and lava rock there is so cheap. I got like 30 pounds of lava rock for about $8. A lot of people end up buying really expensive hardscape. Again, lava rock is not the most expensive rock in aquascaping, but if you buy it, for example, at like I don't know, like at an aquarium store, you'll end up paying way more than you would if you go to like a landscape supply. So I'm not trying to take business away from any aquarium store, but if you're on a budget, you can just go to a landscape supply shop. Okay, so I'm gonna start just kind of placing rocks. There's not gonna be a lot of space in the foreground. It's literally just gonna be like a small little um, area in the front of sand. And I don't even know if I'll have enough rock, but again, like I said, I'm gonna try to make it work, and hope for the best here. God, I hate the sound of the glass crunching underneath all that. I'm gonna try to use like the best looking pieces up front. Um, and I will end up like sealing any holes in the front with some filter floss, like some fine filter floss, It's gonna be white. Hopefully it doesn't show up, um, but if it does, it's all right. We'll just end up like, I don't know, filling it up with some plants and some epiphytes and all that. Ooh. So in order for me to kind of build those pockets, I have to then kind of set some rocks towards the back and then just leave like little areas open. Um, this was gonna be again, I'm fairly new to this, so it might take me a few tries, but like I said, we're gonna make it work. Oh yeah, see, this is a nice rock here, man. Like I don't wanna use, like, look at the front of that. I mean, you can't really see it because there's a shadow, but it looks really nice. Like if you look at it in the light, it looks nice. I mean, at least I like how it looks. It looks pretty good. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep messing around with the hardscape, at least the rocks, and then I'll come back and I'll try to like show you some sort of time lapse of what I'm doing. But I feel like it's gonna take me a little bit of time, mainly because it's small space and I don't have a lot of rocks, so I kind of have to mess around with it for a little bit and just come up with the best like positions for the rocks and just overall the best hardscape I can come up with what I got. So I'll go ahead and do that, and again, I'll show you in a time lapse. All right, so what I did was I came up with this. I know from the front, it doesn't really look like much because it just looks like a bunch of rocks piled on. But if you look at it from the top, there's one pocket here, there's another pocket here, and then you have all this back part to like all the back of the glass to plant, which is what I wanted. And also like the filter and the heater are gonna go here. And then from here, you can kind of see where I plugged it up a little bit here, here, and then on this side you can't really tell, but there's like one down on this side as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, I try to come up with something that looked okay. I'm sure once the plants are in there, it'll look much better. But for now, I mean, honestly, for just simple rocks and all that, it looks good. Now, I still have the wood to put on here, so let me go ahead and do that. So for the wood, I don't have like the biggest variety, but I have a few like decent pieces. Now I don't want to do too much because I feel like that might mess with the scape, but I definitely want to put some pieces of wood in here. And I don't want like, well, I can't put that here because this side, that's where the filter is going to be. So this back part is going to be blocking it. So maybe I can do something like this. Maybe something like that. And then I have these other pieces here. Like this is a nice little piece. I can kind of maybe do the follow that kind of style where like the wood just kind of creeps forward, kind of like from like if it were a stem, right? This is the stem, and then the rest of the wood is the part like that's creeping. Maybe something like that. Again, I don't want to use too much wood because I don't feel like there's really a need for it. And then I have like these tiny little pieces here that can be used for like, I don't know, just kind of bring it all together like that maybe. No, but I don't like this glue that's showing. You can actually see that I've actually used this before because it has like the glue in front. Um, but I'm not sure where I want to put this. I have these, it's just, Because if I put too much wood, it's going to take away from the plants or it might block some planting. Like right now, I'm good with that. There's still enough space for me to plant, and I don't see it being an issue. But like if I add too much, it might end up taking away some space, some planting space at least. All right, so I reached the conclusion it's gonna end up staying like this. Putting the small pieces anywhere else kind of made the tank look a little. I just made it look too overcrowded. Again, there's already a bunch of rocks in there. Luckily, these are not super heavy rocks, so I'm not worried about it like cracking the glass or anything. But I mean, there's already a bunch of rocks in there. I don't feel like I need to put more like detail, like pieces of wood or anything else. Probably just a rock here to cover up that gap where the filter floss or the filter mesh shows so that it doesn't look so weird. But aside from that, honestly, I think that's it for hardscape. Quite frankly, I don't think it needs anything else. I think it looks good just the way it is. And now I just need to go ahead and add the aqua soil to like the little pockets that I made so that we actually have something to plant into. Okay, so let me show you what I'm working here with, right? So here I have some aqua soil with sand that came from an old scape, as well as this aqua soil. So this is just aqua soil. This is aqua soil with sand. Now, I highly recommend that you always save your substrates, your aqua soils, whatever, unless it's like in the worst possible condition. Save them because they might end up, being useful in the future. Now, if you're somebody that can afford to just throw this stuff away and buy new, that's perfectly fine. I would do that if I could, honestly. But even then, maybe it's not the best idea because a lot of these do have beneficial bacteria, and they still have a decent amount of nutrients. But I will be putting some root tabs into this so that we have enough nutrients in there for quite a while. All right, but before I go ahead and start putting in root tabs or soil, before I forget, I gotta glue this wood down. And this is super glue. This is what they call cyanoacrylate super glue. I use the Gorilla brand. It's good. I mean, I think any glue would do it. It doesn't need to be like the most expensive glue. I literally went to Harbor Freight today and I bought some cyanoacrylate super glue to go ahead and just have some on the side just in case I run out because this is like almost out. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue things down, and then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and add the soil. All right, so now that that's glued down, I'm gonna go ahead now and move on to adding the aqua soil. Again, I'm gonna not try, but I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use the one with sand um, in the back, at least a little bit. Oh God, now the rock wants to fall down. I gotta be careful before I knock things down. So I'm gonna use some of that in the back. I tend to like put it on the corners and then just move from there. I'm not gonna put too much because I don't want to make this too high or to build it up too high in the back with the substrate that doesn't have too many nutrients. I just kind of want to bulk it up a little bit so that I can distribute or use whatever aqua soil I do have at my disposal in the best possible way. Um, I think we should be good. Okay, now it's time for me to add the root tabs. I like using the API root tabs. These are really good. I recommend these. They are, they actually last a really long time. This is a open package that I actually used on my angelfish tank. I literally just planted these into the soil, and not the soil, to the sand, right? Because I didn't use any aqua soil in there. And yeah, these are really good. They last a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of these in the back as well as in the little pockets, just so that, we have enough nutrients there for the plants to feed on. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the aqua soil to the back and the pockets. God, this is actually, it might not be enough. Hopefully it is. I'm going to try not to make a mess here, but I have some new aqua soil, or at least some aqua soil that I recently opened to use for another tank, because I have a few tanks. But you know what? I think we might be good, and I might not need to use it. But I do want this to be as deep as possible without having to. I'm literally using a Coke bottle, by the way, that I cut up in half. I'm telling you, you don't need the fanciest things to make decent or really, really good aquascapes. You literally things around your house can be used for anything, right? Like this, I literally just, like I said, I cut up a bottle and now I'm using it as a scoop. Right. So I went ahead and added all the aqua soil. I went ahead and put in root tabs in every little like pocket. So here, here, and again, I already put the ones in the back. Now, if you look at this, right, it's a whole concoction of a bunch of different things, but you can see the sand here. There's a glare, but you can see the sand. There's aqua soil, and this one was mainly just the sand and then the sand aqua soil mixture. Um, I don't know. I try to make it work again with what I got, and honestly, I think it looks great. I am gonna end up putting like some detail stone here in the front. Again, it's gonna be some inexpensive stuff I got at Home Depot. It's gonna be like some gravel. It's really nice. I'm not gonna like overdo it, but I'm gonna put enough so that there's some detail in the foreground and it doesn't look like too empty. But yeah, I mean that's hardscape and soil or nutrients done. And then now I'm going to go ahead and get all the plants ready. And then I'm going to go ahead and just start planting everywhere in this tank. Okay, so I went and added all like the little detail stones, and then I went ahead and blocked this where the actual filter. I keep saying filter mesh, filter flash. I'm just gonna say filter mesh. The filter mesh is behind this little rock here. Now you can't even see it. And then I added the detail stones in the front. I think it looks really good. The stones kind of give it a different contrast from the from the sand to the actual lava rock. Now I know it's a little colorful compared to the lava rock just being all black, but it's fine. Honestly, again, I once this is filled up and the plants are in there and everything is just set, it's gonna look amazing. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the plants ready, and I'm literally gonna use a tray from a baking pan to kind of put the plants on here and then just put them into the tank. So I gotta get those ready, and but yeah, I'll go ahead and come back as soon as the plants are ready to go. So I had a few hiccups with the actual audio. The microphone just kind of it died on me, and I didn't really realize. I'm gonna hopefully make the best of the footage that I got. I don't know exactly how much sound was lost, but the tank is now complete. I filled it up. I didn't want to fill it up on camera just because there's no need for that. I don't have like a quick way to fill it up. I literally have to fill it up, cup by cup technically. So yeah, it's filled up. You can see a bunch of just air bubbles coming out of that substrate and out of the stones, because these are lava stones. So lava stone is very porous and they hold a lot of oxygen or a lot of air inside. But anyway, this is the tank now. It looks very, it looks very dirty right now. Obviously, because of the substrate, the wood itself is dirty. The plants have like bacteria on them that's dying off and all that. But I mean, honestly, once this all grows in, I think it's gonna look great. Like I said, I fitted the filter, I fitted the heater. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to give it a few hours, maybe even a whole day for it to clear up. And then once that happens, where the tank is cleared up, I'm gonna go ahead, come back to it, and show you guys just how it looks. All right, guys. So these are the guppies I'm gonna be putting in this tank up here. I did put my betta in here. It's a male tangerine betta. But I want to put these guppies in there. Now, there's a bunch of females and there's a bunch of males. I kind of have them mixed up. There's endlers and there's guppies. But I just kind of want to see what comes out of them breeding. Actually, these females have already, I think some of them are pregnant from what I can tell. Some of these are actually pretty chunky, but one of them did give birth already, and you can see the little fry just kind of swimming around in there. But yeah, I want to put these guppies in that 14-gallon tank. The tank has actually been cycling now for about a week. The plants really haven't grown in. I have been running CO2, as you can see up here. It's green. Now, some people say don't put guppies in on, if you are running CO2, like don't just switch them into another tank, or when you get them from the shop, don't immediately put them into your tank if you're running CO2, turn it off and then put them in. But these guppies, I've actually ran CO2 in here because of the pearl weed. I was trying to grow it out, and it's actually growing out decently well. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to put these guppies in this 14-gallon here, and then I'll kind of do like a little release type of video. All right, guys, I just wanted to say thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the build of this 14-gallon tank. I really enjoyed it. I think it turned out great. Quite frankly, I honestly, this is my first time filming this. This is my first time really going through the process on camera. I've done it before where I've built tanks, but I've never been recording. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys will stick around. Like I said at the beginning of the video, some of you guys might already, have known me before, right, from my previous content. But if anyone here is new, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you on the next build.